Hi friends, welcome to our today's session, which is part 4 on Object Store V2. So guys, as you know, in part 3 we have covered all the theoretical part related to the Object Store V2. Okay, we covered all the configurations, okay, how the configurations behaves in Object Store V2 service. Okay, so guys, whatever operations we have performed in part 2, okay, that same those same operations we are going to deploy into the Cloudhub. Okay, that same mule application we are going to deploy to the Cloudhub, and we will use Object Store V2 service and see how it works on both custom settings, on both custom configurations as well as default configurations. So custom configurations in which we have configured our custom Object Store configurations in the Anypoint Studio, and a default Object Store means we didn't have any custom Object Store configurations. So whatever configuration is there, we are going to deploy using the same configurations in the Cloudhub. Okay, so these two scenarios, out of these two scenarios, we are going to cover this custom Object Store V2. Okay, custom Object Store configurations part we are going to cover now. So we will create one custom Object Store configurations, define some configurations like max entries, okay, TTL, expiration interval, okay, and use those same custom configurations and deploy our application to the Cloudhub having a Object Store V2 configuration, having Object Store V2 service enabled. Okay, but before directly going to jump to the Cloudhub and deploy it, let me show you how the custom configurations behaves in Object Store V2 service. So let's move to the next slide. So guys, that's how it looks like. You can see now custom Object Store is configured here. Okay, so these are the points which we need to look. Okay, what will happen if we have a custom configuration of Object Store defined in our mule application. So in the first point is data is created in the custom Object Store partition. Okay, so the one is the default partition and the one is the partition which is related to your custom Object Store. Okay, so that part I will show you once our application will be deployed. So guys, you need to click on Runtime Manager, click on the app, and click on that Object Store. There you can see the Object Store. And after that, the point is written max entries will be ignored. So if you have Object Store V2 service enabled in the Cloudhub, so even if you have any max entries defined in your custom Object Store configurations, those will be ignored. Okay, you can store as many max entries you can in the Cloudhub where Object Store V2 service is enabled. And guys, moving on to the next point. So if TTL is non-zero, okay, so if TTL is non-zero, then it will delete key values based on the TTL value provided. Okay, but you have to keep one thing in mind, that expiration interval should be less than the TTL. So if TTL is 30 seconds, then expiration interval should be 5 seconds. So that expiration thread will check TTL after every 5 seconds, okay, that TTL has been expired or not. So guys, if you specify expiration interval greater than TTL, in that case it will delete those key values. It will remove those key values based on the expiration interval time and not on the TTL. So always define expiration interval less than TTL. Moving on to the next point guys. So if TTL is non-zero, then static TTL will be applied. Okay. So, and moving on to the last point, expiration interval. Okay, so in this case Object Store V2 will delete data based on the whatever TTL value is defined. So expiration interval is nothing but an expiration thread which checks the TTL after every expiration interval time which has been defined. So here in this case you can see it's 5 seconds. So expiration thread will run after every 5 seconds and check if TTL has been expired or not. So if TTL is expired at some time, so it will delete those key value pairs. So expiration thread is just checking after every 5 seconds that TTL has been expired or not. Okay, so always expiration interval should be less than TTL. Okay, so guys, that was all about this custom Object Store configurations. So that's how we used to define the custom Object Store. So let me go to the Anypoint Studio and show you how it looks like. So guys, we are in Anypoint Studio. So these are all the operations which we have performed in part 2. Okay, so let me go through each and every operation. So guys, you can see one listener here. So first operation is store, so I have specified endpoint as UC1. Second is the retrieve, so I have specified as UC2, and similarly other operations. Okay, so let me show you the extra configurations. So that's how we used to store the key value pairs in the object store. Okay, and you can see we have defined one custom object store configurations. So if I click on it, you can see I have defined a persistent object store. Okay, so that you already know, I have showed you what is that. And max entries I have defined as 4 but because we are using object store v2 service, so this will be ignored. And entry TTL, let me keep it as 30 seconds so that you can see, because you need to wait for 20 minutes in that case. And expiration interval I will keep it as 5 seconds, so after every 5 seconds it will check whether the TTL has been expired or not. So guys, that's how I have defined this max entries, TTL, okay, expiration interval. Okay, so that's all. So I will click on OK, save it. And to deploy this application to the Cloudhub, so these are the settings you can do on your listener configuration. So port I have protocol I have kept as HTTP. Host is this, port is 8081, and read timeout is 30,000, means 30 seconds. And these are all the operations. Listener 1 is UC1, listener 2, which is retrieve, is UC2, okay, in the UC3, and similarly. And in the last I have created one scheduler flow, so it will retrieve all keys after every 10 seconds and log it. Okay, so with the help of this flow we will get to know that keys are present in the object store or not in the Cloudhub. Okay, so to check with the object stores keys, so that's why I've created this flow. Okay, and guys, I have also written some of the endpoints and what and all operations it will perform, okay, so that it will be easier for you, so when I will trigger these endpoints from the postman. Okay, so guys, let me create one jar file and let me deploy it to the Cloudhub. Okay, let me export it. Object store v2 I will keep. Okay, I will open this and save it. Finish. So before deploying to the Cloudhub, let me show you these configurations again. So guys, max entry is persistent, okay, TTL 30 seconds, expiration interval 5 seconds. Okay, so these are the configurations I have defined. So guys, we are in Cloudhub now. I will click on deploy application, give it a name, object store v2. Okay, I will give it this name and I will deploy it in the Cloudhub. So here is the object store v2 service, guys. So this is enabled, that's what we want. Now I will choose that jar file which I'm going to deploy. Okay, okay, I will open it and deploy this application. So the deployment is started. Okay, so let's wait for the deployment. So as deployment has started now. So guys, our application has been deployed. It has started successfully. Okay, and we have one scheduler flow which will run every 10 seconds. And after every 10 seconds it will show how many key value pairs we have in the object store. And guys, if you remember, I have showed you one point that it will create a custom partition. Okay, if I click on this, so presently there is no partition because there is no key value pair stored. So I will store one key value pair. Okay, and you can see one partition having name as the same configuration which I showed you, object store 1, like that. Okay, so for storing of store operation we have endpoint as UC1, so I will trigger UC1 endpoint and store some key values. I will go to the postman 1 1. Okay, UC1. Okay, and let me copy the endpoint of the deployed application. Okay, and I will paste it here like this. Okay, and I will trigger this endpoint now, guys. Yep, let me remove it. HTTP, and this is the host. Okay, and this is the endpoint. Let me send. So guys, it has been stored. So let's go to the Anypoint Studio logs and see. So guys, presently there is no key value. Now in the next log, in the next what I would say, in the next scheduler trigger, after 10 seconds you can see one key stored. Let's wait. So guys, as you can see, we have stored one key, one value 1, and with the help of scheduler flow we have fetched those keys using retrieve all keys operation. Okay, this was the operation. So using this we have retrieved all the keys, okay, which is logging here. So guys, the first point was that max entries will be ignored in case of object store v2. Okay, so we will try to store more than four max entries, max keys, I would say more than 4. So because we have a max entries defined as 4, so it should store more than 4 max entries to make that point to be valid. Okay, so let me trigger and store more than 4 keys and see if it works or not. Okay, so this is the first, now this is the second, send, now third, now fourth, okay, and now fifth. And let's add one more, sixth. And guys, now we will see if it has exceeded that max entries count or not. Let's see, is it ignoring those max entries or not in object store v2 service. So guys, you can see we have 5 keys, but max entry was 4, so it has ignored max entries basically in object store v2 service. Now it is okay, so because the previous 2 are expired because TTL was 30 seconds, so they are deleted. Okay, and it has stored the remaining ones. Okay, now 3 and 4 are deleted because TTL has expired for them. Okay, now 5 and 6 are deleted now. Okay, so guys, that's how this TTL, okay, and this max entries, this expiration interval looks like in object store v2. Okay, and similarly, like you can do retrieve all keys, different operations you can perform. But the common thing is that we have object store custom configurations in all these operations. So you can perform any operation you want. But custom object store is common. Configuration is common for all of them. Okay, you want to clear, you can clear. You want to check that key is present or not, you can check. Retrieve all keys, you can do. Retrieve all key value pairs, you can do. Retrieve using a specific key. Okay, retrieve, if you want to retrieve some value using a specific key, that also you can do. If you want to remove a specific key, that you can do. Okay, so different operations you can do basically. So I have performed this store operation just to make you familiar with how object store custom configurations works in object store v2 service. Okay, now I will show you the partition, how partition looks like. I will store more 2 or 3 key values. Okay, let me store. Okay, so same key name I have stored. Okay, now I will click on this object store. Okay, because I've chosen persistent in object store configurations. Okay, that's why a default persistent object store is assigned. Now if I click on this, you can see guys, a partition has been created having same name as that of this object store v1 configuration. So if I click on this, you can see, so keys are expired. Let me trigger it again. Okay, let's see. Okay, you can see. So because I'm triggering the same key, so duplicates are it's not taking duplicates. So you can see this key 6 guys, and this is the value in the binary format stored. Okay, so you can see a custom partition having the same name as that of the object store has been created. Okay, so guys, that's how this custom configurations works in object store v2 service. Okay, so now what I will do, I will keep TTL as 0. So guys, if we keep TTL as 0, okay, then in that case it will not delete, those key value pairs will not be expired. Okay, because in case of if TTL is 0, let me show you. So as you can see, if there is no value, okay, if TTL has no value and mule version is greater than 4.2.1 or later, the rolling TTL will be applied guys. And if mule versions are earlier then static TTL will be applied. Okay, and if less than or equal to 0, then in that case TTL will be static. 30 days, maximum value will be 30 days. Okay, so if you reuse that same key value on 29th day, your TTL will be extended again by more 30 days. Okay, so I will keep my TTL as 0 this time and show you. Okay, TTL is 0, so it means static TTL is applied. I will click on OK, save it, and deploy this application. I will give it as TTL 0. Save it. Okay. Now I will go to the Cloudhub and deploy this one more application having TTL as 0. Okay. Object store v2 TTL 0. Okay. Deployment is Cloudhub. I will choose the file TTL 0 and deploy application. Let's wait for the deployment. So guys, the application has been deployed successfully. So now the scheduler will start logging the keys. Let's wait. So there are no keys. Okay, because we haven't stored any keys. So this time the TTL is 0. It means a static TTL will be applied. Okay, so it means it will be there for 30 days. Those key values will be there for 30 days even if you do not use it. Okay, after 30 days it will be expired. But if you keep reusing them, your TTL will be extended for another 30 days then, even if you used the retrieve operation. Okay, in that case TTL will be extended for another 30 days. Okay, so let me store some key values. So because the static TTL it is applied, so it will be there for 30 days. So let me trigger this. But in previous scenario, because TTL was 30 seconds, so it was expiring instantaneously after 30 seconds. So now we will see if it expires or not. I haven't changed the host name, so let me copy this. Okay, okay, okay. So let me store some key values. Let me remove this. So key 1 value 1 is stored, key 2 value 2 stored, 3 value 3 stored, key 4 okay, and last one is key 6 and value 6. Okay, so now guys we will see if static TTL is working or not. These key values should expire after 30 days and not instantaneously, just like it was expiring before when TTL was 30 seconds. So let's check with the logs first, the keys are stored or not. So you can see all the 6 keys are stored, and also check with the object store. Okay, I will click on default persistent object store, the object store 1 partition. So guys, you can see all the 6 keys are there. Okay, no one has expired instantaneously because static TTL is applied, because TTL is 0 this time. And based on our previous lectures, previous parts, we saw if TTL is 0, static TTL should be applied. So key values will be there for 30 days. After 30 days it will be expired if you do not use it. If you use it, TTL will be extended for another 30 days. Okay, so it keeps logging those key values, it's not expiring, you can see. Okay, so guys, that's how the custom object store works. Custom object store configurations works under object store v2 service. Okay, I've showed you 2 use cases, the one having TTL as 30 seconds and another one was TTL having 0. Okay, so guys, I hope you understood, okay, everything what we saw in this session, okay, which is part 4. Okay, so in part 5 we will see the default object store configuration, how it works, under object store v2 service. Okay, so this was custom one, and so the next part will be default one, how the default object store works in the object store v2 service. So thanks for watching this session guys, see you soon, bye.